How often, how many times a month would you say on average these days are you hearing air raid sirens go off?
I'd say about 30,000 times per month. Oh, wait, that's just my PSTD, I guess. Or is it PTSD?
It seems like it's at least once a month, doesn't it? It's PTSD, by the way.
I'm suffering from it, so I can't even say the acronym.
You need help. We've always known that.
Well, that's why I was married to a psychologist for 20 years.
And then finally she gave up. She's like, I can't help you. I can't help you
Yeah, I
anymore.
couldn't I couldn't afford to pay for the therapy anymore.
Welcome to the Risk Reward Show. Today, season 2 begins. We got Die Hard ripoffs, the interesting history of home video from the guy who was actually there at Ground Zero, the suffering travel industry, Russia, Ukraine, China's 5-year plan, baseball realignment, Powell's next job, and so much more. Plus, some lady tries to take a crap at Robert's house. Stick around, let's go.
Live from beautiful downtown Pasadena as we look out into the sky here at night in the fine Middle East and wonder when the next air raid siren will go off. I don't believe it's going to happen. How are you?
I'm doing great, and welcome everybody to the first episode of season 2 of our lovely little show.
Do our paychecks say season 2 on it, or does it just
All of those
invoice-wise?
non-existent paychecks that exist in my mind, they all say season 2 right now, and then we'll probably go another 20 and then on to season 3. It seems to be the pattern that we've allotted for ourselves. Hello, Mr. Petrucci. How is... Now, let's see, air raid sirens. That's right. You guys had an air raid siren a few nights ago or days ago or something.
Yeah, I think it was a couple days ago or something like that. But it was from our friends, the Houthis, and I know I'm supposed to take it more seriously, but I really don't.
It's hard
And
to take anything
I
seriously from it's coming from a group called the Houthis. It's like Hootie Tootie and Rudy Tootie Hootie.
Hootie tootie.
I shouldn't speak lightly, but they need to
No,
they need to
yes,
pick
you
a more
should.
threatening name, I think, for themselves. If they're going to be launching lawnmowers or whatever the hell they're launching at you guys, they need to sound more menacing as they do it. Like
Yeah, it's all fun
demon.
and games until you get hit by something. Yeah,
Sure.
until that happens, I admit I don't take it so seriously. I don't take it so seriously.
Yeah. How often? How many times a month would you say on average these days are you hearing air raid sirens go off?
I'd say about 30,000 times per month. Oh, wait, that's just my PSTD, I guess. Or is it PTSD?
It seems like it's at least once a month, doesn't it? It's PTSD, by the way.
No. I'm suffering from it, so I can't even say the acronym correctly.
You need help. We've always known that.
Well, that's why I was married to a psychologist for 20 years.
And then finally she gave up. She's like, I can't help you. I can't help you
Yeah,
anymore.
I
Get
couldn't
off my
afford
sofa!
I couldn't afford to pay for the therapy anymore.
Zing!
Now I just pay for it via alimony.
Right.
You know.
It's a different kind of therapy.
All right.
It's already cut
You know,
from the show.
I have a cockroach story I would like to share for the audience right now. Found a cockroach basically suffering on the floor this morning. You know, he was suffering. He was dying by himself. I didn't need a shoe. I didn't need to squish him. I took some toilet paper, crunched him a little, threw him into the toilet. Flush. 6 hours later, went back to that toilet, having forgotten that I had done that, and I see the little bug floating on top of the water. Not alive, but floating. This thing is floating in the toilet still. My daughter will be at the house tomorrow night, and if this little cockroach is still swimming on the surface of that water tomorrow night, she's going to refuse to use that particular bathroom. So the question is, what do you put on top of the dish to make it sink?
I think leave it there. Just don't do anything. See if she notices.
My daughter does not like bugs. Ran into my bedroom about 1 o'clock in the morning last week saying, Daddy, there's a lizard in the bathroom. I'm like, a lizard is fine. I said, it's a little gecko. Leave it alone. And she says, Daddy, we don't live in the jungle. Kill it. I'm like, I'm not killing a gecko. It's bad luck to kill geckos, and they eat the other bugs. Maybe he is the Michael Phelps of cockroaches, and I.
Well, you said he's not moving anymore, so he's not swimming. He's just sort of floating, right?
That is correct. He's doing the backstroke. They used to sell them on skewers, and you could eat them, barbecue
Well,
them
you
and
can
stuff.
in China. It's a delicacy in
I
a
wasn't going
lot
to
of
go there,
a
but
lot of the provinces. I've had one. I've eaten them.
no, not for me.
A lot of times when you're in China, and I lived there a few years, and I've been doing business there for 15. Um, what happens is they as you get to know people, they challenge you to sort of see, because they hear all these stories about how Westerners won't eat this or that or the other thing, which is largely true. So I've eaten all sorts of crazy stuff in China, and I'll generally do it as long as I'm not allergic to it. I'm allergic to fish, so I can't, the kind with scales.
Are you allergic to shellfish?
No, most people, if they have a fish allergy, they are allergic to shellfish,
Yeah.
and I think that's because of an iodine thing that they're actually allergic to. So when you go in and you get a barium because you're going to have an X-ray or something, they ask you if you're allergic to shellfish. Sometimes that's because they're trying to figure out if you're allergic to the iodine that's in the barium you're about to swallow to make the X-ray picture look nice and pretty.
Now,
But with
are
this
you
other
are
allergy,
you
which is also somewhat common, it has to
hmm?
do with scales because there's some protein that develops fish scales on fish that some people are allergic to, like me.
You should have been a patient on the show House.
Yeah, there you go.
Hugh
If only.
Laurie could have,
Yeah,
made fun of you. I
I
think we
would have
would have
wanted.
all enjoyed that.
I would have wanted to write on that show. That was a well written show. That was a fun show.
Oh, do you think that he delivered a lot of those lines extemporaneously?
I don't
Or do
know.
you think they actually wrote things in for him? I mean, the guy is funny. He thinks very quickly. I
Yeah,
think he did a lot of that on his own. They
he
said,
might have. It would have been little one liners here and there, like smoke 'em if you
yeah,
got 'em, that kind of thing. But most of that show, when you think back on it, it was really Sherlock Holmes set in a hospital. That's the pitch.
yeah,
So that's a very tightly wound show with lots of little setups and payoffs. And did you notice this and that clue and this and that? So you can't. I don't think you can vary from that formula too easily. But he could have done a few
right.
asides and little one-offs here and there, and they might have kept them in. I bet.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
By season 7, I started to lose interest a little bit when it
Mm-hmm.
became so formula formula driven, where
Formulaic.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that's a word?
That is a word.
Thank you.
Dude, I worked in
Let's.
studio development for 7 or 8 years. It is a word we used on a daily basis. Your script is too formulaic. Pass.
Is that another word for manipulative?
No, if anything, it's a word for not manipulative enough
Very
because
good.
it means that there's. It means it's sticking too much to a formula or
Yeah.
to cliche, things we've seen before.
Mhm.
For many years, for example, the first script I sold was at a time in the early 90s, mid 90s, where everybody was trying to write a Die Hard ripoff. Because it was like basically a controlled area where a lot of mayhem is going on, and there's one guy or girl to save the day against all odds, and there's bad guys. That was basically Die Hard. Die Hard was such a huge movie, and it affected an entire generation of us creatives in Hollywood as we were entering in. Pretty soon, you had everybody had a Die Hard script, and a lot of them were selling. So it was like Die Hard into this, Die Hard in that. I wrote one. I about the third script I ever wrote. I sold it, and it was basically Die Hard in a cave. I wasn't trying to rip off Die
In a
Hard.
cave?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Was
about a bunch of spelunkers,
oh,
cave explorers who
I thought it
were
was.
down in Cuba, weren't supposed to be, and they wind up these Cuban whatever crime lord winds up hijacking what they're doing because he knows that at the bottom of that cave is something he wants, and it's a female heroine, so he's like killing off her team one by one, and it's just her against him and his guys, and then just playing with all the stuff inside a cave, right? Like from glass
Yeah.
ceilings to rivers underground, all sorts of stuff. I had a ball writing that thing, and it
I
sold to
thought you.
Universal. We almost got it made actually, but the
I
problem
thought
was
you
they
were
had just
going.
shot Waterworld, and they had so many nightmare
Oh,
stories, and there were so many water stunts in my script that no matter how much we tried to write around them, they're like, no, guys, we can't do this. You're gonna do Waterworld in the dark? No, f you, go away. Here's your money,
wow.
just walk.
That
It's a
movie
shame. It would have been fun.
was a little long. Waterworld. That was a
Yeah.
3-hour movie, wasn't it? How many
God,
people went
it was
and
like two
saw
and a half. I
that?
can't remember, but it was long. Yeah.
They did not make money with that film.
Well, they did in the long run. It's interesting because, first of all, the film basically broke even, from what I understand. It didn't
Hmm.
do well
I like
on its
Kevin
first.
Costner, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, that was when he was like a major star and he knew it. It's interesting. He has a bit of a cycle. It seems where,
Hmm.
when he comes up out of nowhere, he's making these great movies, and then he decides he can just do this on his own. And so he made Waterworld with his friend Kevin Reynolds, who had written it and directed it, and they shot this whole thing on water. It took almost like a year to complete or something crazy. They had so many cost overruns on this thing in the millions of dollars, which was a lot back then in the 90s, that by the time they released it, it could barely break even. It didn't break even. It lost money, but eventually it made its money back. It
Wow.
had a pretty good life on home video, which was just like
Wow.
becoming a thing back then in
Mhm.
the early 90s. And so a lot of
People
people
made
bought it
money
or
with
rented
the
it.
home videos?
God, that's what kept most studios alive.
Really?